my 120,000 mile Viper. This is a 2000 RT10. Got a little over 119,000 miles on it right now. I purchased it with a little over 2,000 miles in 2005. It's been a great vehicle and surprisingly reliable, especially considering how hard I beat on it for the first. This is what a 120,000 mile Viper looks like, one that's actually been driven. It's been caught in some wicked rainstorms down here. So now I'm in need of some motor mounts, tranny mount. I'm going to be changing all the pulleys over to aluminums. And I'm noticing little things like the paint, which just flaked off. And then the doors are starting to sag, which is a new phenomenon too. It seems like the less you drive them, the more care it's going to take. It gets taken care of now, but in the beginning I pretty much trounced it. Put it through its paces. So this is a 2000 RT10 with a 488 cubic inch, 8 liter V10, 450 horsepower, 490 foot-pounds of torque. Acceleration, let's see, the RT10, 175 mile an hour top speed, GTS 180 mile an hour top speed. Acceleration 0 to 60, 4.2. Quarter mile time, 12.4 at 116. The best I got it down to was 11.9. And that took a lot of work. The car's been very reliable for a vehicle of this type, performance vehicle. I can't complain about how well it's held up. You know, people always rag on Chrysler and the American companies, but this thing has not had an easy life and it's held up very well. 8 liters of 120,000 mile fun. But as far as regular wear and tear, brakes, batteries and things, it's pretty much it. You know, it's tough to get a really good picture of these gauges at night. The reflection doesn't do it justice, but this color white, it's called laser white, seems to be the best that I've found. The radio is the old color orange, which is kind of gross. Those lights are actually starting to go dim with age. It's not a sophisticated car as far as having to take care of it. It's very easy and straightforward to take care of, so I do everything I can myself. Hundred 19,000 miles. It's a little dirty right now. I've got another steering wheel out there now being recovered. This car's seen a lot in those miles. These mats I've had since about 6,000 miles. I have a brand new set that I use for shows. Cognac interior is holding up pretty well considering it's out in the Florida sun. Hell, for the last 15 years, 16 years now. Plastic on the steering wheel is starting to get gross. This here airbag. Other than that, I've got a new head unit to go in here. I've been resisting doing, but now I'm starting to notice some of the small things happening. I also have a couple nicks, but it's more the wear and tear of not using it, I think, is what's doing it. Remember when I got the urge, the itch to buy a Viper, and exactly how the whole thing came about. You know, young, single, professional guy, doing pretty well, living in Clearwater, little part of Clearwater called Safety Harbor, a really nice area. Got a motorcycle or two. My daily driver was a Mustang Terminator Cobra, so it was pretty quick, and I had done some work to it, so it's putting out, you know, around 530, 540. And it was a nice car. I love that car. Let me rephrase that. So I'm sitting in traffic on Hillsborough Boulevard, heading towards the Hooters on Hillsborough. I'm down by the airport, and I'm in the left lane, and in the center lane, this gorgeous girl pulls up in a convertible. I think it was like a Celica or something. And then in the right lane, this guy pulled up in this RT10, and it was a beautiful yellow Viper, and this gorgeous girl was transfixed on that car and didn't even notice mine. And talk about being butthurt as a young guy, you know, here I am thinking I'm all cool. It was a real slap. I mean, it was like, and then I looked at that car, I'm like, you know, that car is bad looking. I mean, that is a great looking car. It was a beautiful summer night, so you couldn't ask for a better night for a convertible. And that was like 2003. And I just said, you know, I'd really like to own one of those, but right now it's a little bit out of my price range and what I got going on and stuff. So I just held off. And then about 2005, I said, you know what, I got a big bonus coming in from work for something I had done. So things are working out pretty well right now. Maybe it's time to upgrade my vehicle. I had a company car. I didn't need to have a daily driver. And so I said, you know what, I'm thinking I might trade the Terminator in on something a little. Yellow ACR. There was a dealer, a Jaguar dealer in Sarasota, Florida, Wild Jaguar, and they always had a lot of sports cars, and especially Vipers. So this was 2005 now, and they had a lot of nice cars on that lot. There, but specifically a yellow ACR, which I wanted this car. Now I decided I needed to buy this car, and I went back there. The car had been on that lot at least 6 or 8 weeks sitting there, and I went by there one afternoon and they had sold it that morning. I couldn't believe it. That had sat there all that time, and the day that I'm coming to get it, somebody buys it. And the guy's like, you missed it by like 3 or 4 hours. And I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. I really wanted that car. When you're a car person and you drive a car, you ride a vehicle, I guess if you're a plane or a boat, you take it out, you know that this is for you, that this car is you, that this car suits you, that this bike suits you. You know what it is that you want. And this yellow car spoke to me like in that language, you know what I mean? So I was devastated when I missed the opportunity. So ends up they had, you know, a bunch of cars there. They had a red ACR, same year, same everything. But the problem with it had been tractor beat on pretty heavy. It felt sloppy, and it didn't give me that good feeling that I needed when I'm dropping that kind of money. So, you know, I just went about my business and kept my eyes open. And then one day driving through Georgia on my way home, from a business trip, I came across this car at like a Toyota dealership up. I was killing some time, and I said, oh, let me stop in and take a look. And I started looking at this thing, and right away, having done some homework on the Vipers, I knew it had smooth tubes on it. I knew from the sound of it the exhaust had been done. I like the color. I didn't want black. Black cars are such a pain in the ass to take care of, but it looks so good with the black and then the cognac colored interior, that Connolly leather. It was a killer look. And I test drove it and I was like, this car is quick. It's got a little something extra, and it's speaking to me. So I said, you know what, I think I'm going to buy this car. Drove my Mustang back up there a few days later. I had to do it after work. The way things worked out, I didn't end up getting up to where I had to be in Georgia till like 1:30 in the morning, and the salesperson was there waiting for me when I got there. He knew it was going to be late, and this guy wanted to make these deals. I brought my car up there, traded it in, did what I had to do, and got out of there about 3 in the morning and started my drive home. So I had been up since 6 the previous morning, worked, drove all the way up into Georgia, did what I had to do, got the car, and then drove it home that night. It was a magical night. This car on the open road in the late night, man, one of the most memorable drives. I got it back. Next morning, I stopped at the Skyway Bridge, took some pictures, and went home and immediately changed all the fluids. Just precaution. The car only had 2,000 miles, but I didn't care. I wanted everything done. This car lived the first 50 to 70,000 miles of its life being beat on. It's survived and it's held up well. So after 120,000 miles, this Viper has been nothing but a joy to drive. It's furious. It's fun. A Viper is an amazing vehicle, and it's even more amazing when you rip the top off. So I look forward to another 120,000 miles in this car.